Before we get into, I don't even know what we're talking about today, but before we get into it, did you and I both almost simultaneously witness the greatest case in recorded history of the female species, the greatest RBF ever?
Yeah, it was hot. I mean,
What's happening?
RBF?
What's RBF?
I've seen yours, Kay. It's real like,
body
short little snippets. I've seen yours.
RBF.
I didn't share the extended video with you. I only showed you the clips. Huh?
Royally, blusterly, fucked. I don't know what.
Remember the last time? Yes, you watched the snippets of the royally blustery fucked K. It was.
Did you come up with the acronym for BAFTA when it comes to Kay spewing red wine on her ruby red slippers? Episode 17.
Rest in peace.
That's right.
No, RBF is resting bitch face.
Oh yeah. My mom has that. So if you're talking about me having it, I have it. I have it from her.
This lady today, and she was a lovely lady. But man, in the big book of I Don't Want to Be Here, she's probably chapter 1.
Yeah. Well, the last time I dealt with this person who shall go unnamed, and it's not UK, don't worry. There was a little bit of a mix-up, a snafu, and they did not want to claim responsibility for said snafu. Instead, basically said, tough, deal with it, suck on it. So I could tell in the tone when I got there that this person remembered who I was and remembered associated like, oh, right. Things didn't go well last time we had a transaction.
Trust me, brother. I got there first. You were a few minutes behind me, but it didn't matter if you were there or not. That room was chilly.
Is this person a female?
Well, of course.
Resting-
Men have resting
Why?
bitch face.
Exactly.
Why is it that resting bitch face can only go to females? Why is it never attached to a male counterpart? Why is that?
Because when a woman is using her RBF, she's using RBF. When a man does it, it's like, oh, you're Clint Eastwood, badass. You know, like, yeah, that's how men are supposed to look. That's the problem, Kay, is that you're looking like a man, and it's just not right. It just doesn't, we expect sunshine and rainbows, always smiles. When you look angry, you just look too masculine. That must be what it is.
Justin, it's because most dudes spend the vast majority of their day and life with a confused, fuck, how am I going to figure this shit out? We don't have time for resting bitch face. We're like, what the fuck?
Ours is active bitch face.
That will be ABF then.
There, in the spirit of fairness, we all have bitch face, but men's is ABF. If at any point it turns into RBF, we're having a stroke. So,
Welcome to Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K and Todd, where no sport is off limits. Resting bitch face is not off limits either. Apparently only to men it's off limits. Not fair. This week we have an actual debate, which is very exciting, and I can't wait to hear how wrong I will be in all aspects of my life yet again by YouTube bratwurst. Who is the best coach? I think we've decided that it was just going to be best coach overall, not a specific
yeah, I
sport?
think so, because, we don't have time to go through the best baseball, basketball, rowing, archery coach. Yeah, we're talking in generalizations here.
You picked a rowing coach, didn't you?
Yeah, 100% I did. And that's not in reference to rowing the boat at Ski-U-Mah University of Minnesota, because PJ Fleck ain't the best coach ever. I'll say that right now.
Well, good. I'm glad that I did my homework correctly. Otherwise, I would have totally fucked up. Before we get into the debate, though, Todd, as always, latest news, please.
I like to give you options, Miss K.
I love the options. This is my favorite bit. Is this part and the fact that you give me these options.
I like the fact that your favorite bit is the part where I shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's great.
You can keep your ABF on, though.
It's on right now.
It just looks scary. It's just like you're gonna murder me.
Okay, we know the LA Dodgers recently pretty much manhandled the Yankees in the World Series. And all the players that were on that winning team are going to be remembered by fans for years to come, of course. And now strippers. The owner of the Foreplay Gentlemen's Club in Los Angeles has granted all of the players free VIP access for life. The players will get an exclusive VIP card that guarantees them free admission and free VIP booth seating to both clubs that he owns for as long as they're alive. Not clear how many of the players, if any, will take the clubs up on their offer. I'm sure there'll be a few.
What's the name of it again?
Foreplay, but it's the number 4, PLAY, and the other one's called Plan B.
Great.
Oh my!
I am going to apply.
Oh, just so you hope that Shohei Ohtani comes in for a lap dance.
Oh my god!
And my name will be Lucy.
That's right.
No,
that's nice tip of cap to my daughter.
You are going to be Eileen Eula.
Yeah. I can't wait till the Shohei Ohtani translator explains that one to him. But yeah, I mean, why not? The only problem is, that there's going to, if you take them up on it, they're going to make a big deal about it. Teoscar Hernandez has graciously accepted our offer. And so, that could hurt your Q score moving forward. But if I'm a Major League Baseball player, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'll take that. Absolutely.
When my wife was single living in Seattle, there was a place called Belltown Billiards, and they'd go out clubbing, and there were certain Mariners. They were the single dudes, the young guys, a lot of the Latino players that would go out. And she's like, my wife to this day is like, Freddie Garcia is a horrible dancer. So how do you know?
But he's a good kisser, I bet.
Freddie Garcia got shipped to Detroit.
Oh.
And then because he liked partying a little bit too much.
And so they sent him to Detroit?
It's right in with the twat, yes.
They got a shirt by the name of Carlos.
Right. I'm not going to lie. I've noticed that a lot of the Detroit players are very praise be to Jesus. We love Jesus. Post Bible verses in every single one of their posts. So maybe that's what they're trying
But you realize that the guys who do that are the craziest mofos, right? Those are the ones that
I
put on the airs oh, praise Jesus, what a blessing. Oh, it's such a blessing to be here. Thank God for all the gifts he's been giving me. 30 seconds later, there's cocaine on a stripper's ass. I guarantee it with each and every one of those.
It's okay. We can judge. And what's number 2? What's number 2, Todd?
New Orleans Saints interim head coach. His name's Darren Rizzi. I think he just coached maybe his second or third game with the Saints. He won his debut, right?
Yes.
And this leads into that. He may want to, we were talking about superstitions last episode, 17.
Yeah.
Well, Saints coach Darren Rizzi may want to take a ginormous crap before every game the rest of the year, because after the Saints won his debut over the Falcons 20-17, their first win of the season since I think the opening week, they had lost 7 straight. He admitted that when he used the head coach's locker room, he clogged the toilet. And he said to himself, and I quote, I'm like, this is going to be a crappy day. And in Justin's parlance, punny fun or funny pun. How do you do that? Punny fun intended.
So there it is. Get a big breakfast, take a big old crap, clog the toilet, your team wins.
I'm going to call it the big shit to win.
Yeah. You can all switch to go to page 2 in the playbook. This is the portion of the program where I eat 2 racks of ribs. And I'm going to need about 15, 20 minutes and somebody called Roto-Rooter for after the game. My question is is it clogged now? And does he say, well, we got to leave it until after the game? If we win, we get it plumbed. If we don't, it stays there. Perhaps I will add to it for next week. Maybe the problem is we need to clog it even more. 2, 3 craps in there.
He goes in before the game. Does he say, all right, boys, I'm going to go give birth to a Chiefs quarterback?
Or whichever team they're playing. Yes. I'm about to drop a Minshew in there. I mean,
I'm about to drop a Minshew.
The coach should be in the running for greatest of all time.
Do you think so?
Well, I mean, we don't know what his win-loss record is. And frankly, that doesn't go into the consideration when I'm talking about the best coach ever. So the guy who purposely clogs the toilet so his team wins, that's dedication. That's dedication.
I think
to
he's
credit.
he's top tier. He's top 3 in my book. Right. So let's get into the debate then. Who wants to go first? Best coach. I have 2.
Okay, why don't you ladies first?
The term GOAT, it just gets thrown around way too easily now. No, he's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. They're the GOAT. And we have measurables, right? We have statistics and records, and that's where debate lies. Okay, it was at this time, this place, but like greatest coach. I mean, I'll start with like John Wooden. I mean, John Wooden won 8 straight national championships and 9 in 11 years.
I can't remember the exact story of the record, but whichever guy came in and replaced him lost like 1 game in his first season, and like they wanted him fired. They're like, they didn't win a national championship, and they're like, this guy's bullshit. Get Wooden back.
And Wooden has the pyramid of success, and he's got all these acolytes that just tout what a great human being he was and how he taught them about life. Meanwhile, I think they won 88 straight games in college basketball.
For those of us who don't know who you're talking about, can you enlighten the rest of
the 4 people out there on Earth who don't know? That's okay. No, it's a fair question. You know what? Ignorance is real. It's okay, Kay. Yeah, I believe UCLA basketball. I believe at that time there was no other college program. Like there were college teams there for UCLA that could have beat some of the NBA teams, I think. So
that brings us to another debate, and maybe we'll do that one next week, which is actually, can any college team beat a professional team? And what are those examples? I like that. So is that yours, Todd?
No, not at all.
That's just an example.
Just an example.
Very good.
Just a guy that is considered, when we say GOAT, I mean, he has a book that people, it's almost like a Bible, like how to live your life, the first thing he would teach his team day 1 of practice wasn't roll the balls out and we're going to do some passing drills. He taught them how to put their socks on properly. I'm not lying. And there was a method to his madness. He said things like, be quick, don't be in a hurry.
What the fuck? Is he a guru? What is this shit?
He was a guru. He's on a next level. He's on the ethereal plane that we just can't even comprehend where he is. And every once in a while, he just drops little nuggets to us.
But the reason why he taught them to put their socks on correctly, or the proper technique, was if you don't put them on correctly, you're going to get blisters. And if you get blisters while you're playing, it's going to affect your play. But it's also teaching.
What's the proper way to put on socks?
Dude, the guy died like 20 years ago. I didn't play for him. Shit. I read his fucking book.
Blisters all over my fucking feet. I have no idea. I wish I'd gone to UCLA and that wouldn't teach me how to fucking put my socks on, but here we are.
I walk like 10 miles a day, roughly, right?
I will send you. Now I got to send you the Booby Clark card. I sent you the fucking Detroit Sports Illustrated. Now I got to send you my copy of Wooden.
Just send me the pages where it talks about the socks, and then just rip them out.
The thing is that's actually the entire structure of the book. It's from point A to point B. You get little nits along the way, and once you finally finish the book, then it all comes together, and it ties the shoes, the laces, so to speak, of how to put your socks on properly.
This podcast is like the negative, the inverse of John Wooden's famous pyramid of success.
Running around fucking clubbed feet with our shoes on backwards.
It's now a pyramid scheme, and also he's gonna be.
All you got to do is get 10 of your friends to buy some of these socks, and then if they can get 10 of their friends to buy socks, now you're getting sock money.
And you're selling up.
I don't like him, Todd. I don't like him.
If you sell enough, you get all that sauce.
Yeah, that's right. There it is. Why we should know how to put on fucking socks properly. It's the name of the goddamn podcast.
Oh boy,
makes sense.
Okay.
I'm dying.
The thing is that John Wooden, I believe he famously said, he was like, you put your socks on properly to avoid blisters on your feet. You want blisters, that's for after the game at the sorority house. I believe that was his direct
or your free pass to the gentleman's club.
I'm going to go back to our debate.
What was that again?
Yeah, no fucking shit.
Oh.
Who is the best coach? Jesus, bringing it in before you two start getting the fucking halfies going on. Dan Campbell.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew just.
I know, but I got two because I knew that you would both probably be disappointed. Can I please read this poetic thing of beauty to you all?
Is this something you have written in homage to him, or is this something that he crafted himself?
No, I wrote this. Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, has become a larger-than-life figure in the NFL. Stop rolling your eyes. Evolving from the infamous kneecap press conference to a respected leader. Campbell's impassioned speech delivered via Zoom in 2021 initially became a punchline across the league, and many doubted his ability to succeed. However, his authenticity and commitment to building a hard-nosed physical football team have proven effective as he led the Lions to their first playoff victory in over 30 years. I cried. His early years at Texas A&M shaped his mentality of outworking pretty much everyone. In his NFL career, he became known for his attention to detail and ability to connect with players. And he still does that to this day. Campbell's tenure in Miami as the Dolphins' interim head coach in 2015 showcased his leadership despite the challenges he faced. His ability to connect with players on a personal level and earn their trust helped him later succeed in my lovely hometown. In his first seasons with the Lions, Campbell's leadership was instrumental in revitalizing the team's culture. Are you bored, Todd? His coaching philosophy, grounded in emotional intelligence, which both of you lack, and player development, has been a key factor in the success of players like quarterback Jared Goff, our GOAT, Jared Goff, whose career has flourished under Campbell's guidance. Campbell's aggressive coaching style, especially his forte for going for it on fourth down, has become a hallmark approach. While his decisions have sometimes been questioned, obviously by the two of you, especially Justin, his players have supported a believing in his vision and identity for the team. This confidence has led the Lions to a competitive, high-powered offense and a culture of trust that has kept key figures like offensive coordinator Ben Johnson in Detroit. Thank you very much. We did keep both of our coaches this year. Campbell has become a symbol of the team's turnaround, with even his off-field appearances such as the infamous Applebee's commercials and his face in a corn maze in Michigan becoming part of the larger-than-life person. Campbell remains focused on the task ahead, confident that our team, embodying the city's toughness, can compete for the Super Bowl, which we are now favored. His leadership has fully matured, and as many who know him attest, this is the coach he always set out to be. P.S. Shout out to his wife, Holly, who is always on her social media, A-game, best in the biz, in my opinion, and is not shy to show her life with the big guy, Dan Campbell, in their everyday life loveliness. The end.
Wow, ChatGPT really can work up some magic.
My favorite Dan Campbell moment this year was when he forgot to give Goff a game ball. Oops.
Oh.
I know, that was funny, wasn't it? Excuse me, I'm a journalist. Thank you, Justin.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yes. Well, Reader's Digest will be very excited to get that in its pages very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Do they still make Reader's Digest?
I hope so.
They do now.
Should be on the cover. We should be on the cover.
As many people subscribe to
disagree.
Reader's Digest as possibly listen to this podcast. That's my
That's true. Right. Agree, disagree. Dan Campbell.
It's hard to argue right now, but I mean, what? They're 9-1 this year. Great. And they're on a roll. They kicked the crap out of whoever they played yesterday. And they're the prohibitive favorites to get to the Super Bowl. But I mean, come on.
Just wait.
I mean, Pete Carroll ran it out for 10 years, and I hated when that guy got to Seattle from USC, and he turned out he had a method to his madness.
He did. It's just, like, it's all fun, new and novel with Dan Campbell. It's just not, what's he been doing it for, like 2.5, 3 seasons now? And they've just had a little bit of success. Great. Yay. We're happy for you. Like this, the bar is set so low in Detroit that it's legitimately like winning a playoff game. It's like, Jesus Christ has gotten so much bigger now. It has a goatee and bites people in the kneecaps. Like, come on. Just wait. He's going to blow it a couple of times. And I just can't wait to see how quickly they turn on him in Detroit when they don't win the Super Bowl this year. Which, by the way, they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
What makes you say that and be so?
Well, there's a couple of other teams in the way. I mean, even if they got to the Super Bowl, which they won't, there's just a couple of AFC teams that are better than them. I'd like to point out, too, in our NFL preview, which we didn't really pay that much attention to, I do believe I said it was going to be the Vikings and the Steelers, and that is looking more and more likely every week. Just say it right here.
Oh, God. Steelers, fine. Vikings, shush.
It's our year. That's just it. It is what it is, Kay. I mean, you'll have another shot, I'm sure. I'm sure Dan Campbell will get you back to the playoffs this year. Probably not next year. Maybe the year after that. I don't know. And yeah, you hope for maybe one of these years getting to the Super Bowl. But it's not your turn. It's my turn. It's our turn. We've been waiting.
Based on how well, quote unquote, you're doing in the fantasy league, I'm not going to take your word for anything at this rate because you're losing between the three of us.
Yeah, so I'm aware of that. But, fantasy football, that's for people who don't understand football. It's a stupid game. It's dumb. And once again, auto draft screwed me over. Also, I don't understand, whichever your dark web shitty fantasy app that we're using, I don't even know how to add and drop players, for Christ's sakes. I am constantly befuddled by this thing. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Shout out Sleeper.
Would have to take your money if you'd like to be a sponsor of Sweat Talks and all that stuff.
I came to it the same time you did, Justin, and I happen to be the highest scoring team in the entire league.
Highest scoring team who I just beat.
That's why fantasy football and head-to-head's bullshit, because I am clearly the best owner, the most knowledgeable. I know how to add and drop players. I dropped Dak Prescott because he got hurt. Picked up Russell Wilson. Stroke of genius. I'm the
might we call you the goat, the goat of our fantasy
Dan
football
Campbell,
league.
and that's close enough.
All right, Todd. Who, since you are our goat, who is your best coach?
I'm going to go back about a century.
Oh, good. So I definitely won't know who they are.
In fact, we let off with RBF. This guy's nickname was Gloomy Gill. Gloomy Gill. Gil Doby was the head coach.
Oh my God, which one's worse? Gloomy Gill or Gil Doby?
Gil Doby.
Doobie.
They do the doobie so they wouldn't be so gloomy.
To this day, coach my beloved University of Washington Huskies back in 1908 to 1916. Fastest coach to this day in the history of college football to achieve 100 career victories. His career record at the University of Washington, 58-0-3.
Wow.
They won 64 consecutive college football games.
That's incredible.
His lifetime percentage, he coached at other schools before and after, still a 780 winning percentage, 182, 45, and 15. This is not, I'm on a heater, we're 9-1.
Okay. Bring it down. Stop attacking me.
Simma Donna.
Simmadan. Smoke a doobie. Smoke a Gil doobie.
I rest my case.
That's it. I wrote a fucking monologue.
And I've got the forensics. I've got all the evidence. You can give the most impassioned To Kill a Mockingbird speech as you want. But the evidence shows, Your Honor.
Okay. You know what, Todd? I can't argue with you. The moment you said 58-0-3, I was like, fuck yeah, wow, look at that.
But Kay, gold star for you for taking the extra effort and actually writing something out and not just reading stats off the interwebs. By the way, I hate the term GOAT. It's fucking stupid. Like, who wants to be the GOAT? Why can't we come up with an acronym like TIGER that would make it more sense? Like,
right. When we grew up, GOAT was like the heel.
Exactly. And now
The game up for everyone. Thanks, a-hole.
Is it bad that when like Tom Brady started being called the GOAT, I had to Google what GOAT stood for? Is that terrible?
No, because I know.
I was like, why the GOAT? I don't get it.
GOAT used to be bad. You did not want to be the GOAT.
No, you didn't want to be the GOAT. You didn't want to be
So why did they change? Why did they?
Because it's an acronym,
like,
and somebody thought this
well,
was...
I know the acronym, but I'm saying like, why was it okay? Then what was it before? Just because a goat's a
They just say they're the
stupid
best,
animal
the greatest of all time, and then people got lazy. It's the LOL of sports titles, I guess.
No, I get the positive meaning to it, the bad meaning to it. Why is a goat bad?
Have you ever met a goat? Fucking garbage. Chew your ass. They come fucking try to headbutt you. They're mean.
I think it's your spirit animal.
Not gonna argue. Actually, I'm an Aries. Isn't that the ram? Very similar to a goat, but with more mystique, more majestic.
You're not. You're not an Aries.
Indeed, I'm an Aries.
When's your birthday? When's your birthday?
You don't know? I'm not going to tell you. Fuck off.
I know
Nice.
it's in March, but are you end of March?
That's right.
Oh, you are an Aries, but you're a March Aries.
Like there's a difference?
There's a difference. I'm an April Aries, and
Oh.
it's no wonder that sometimes we would butt heads.
That would make sense. You know, so like the March Aries is more of a ram. I think the April's more of a goat.
Fuck off and die. Right. Who is your goat coach?
A coach who he didn't just succeed at one level. He excelled at so many levels. He started out as, I believe, a quarterback for the University of Michigan Wolverines. I believe he became an offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers en route to winning a couple of Super Bowls with Vince Lombardi. I believe he then went on to become the offensive coordinator for Bud Grant and the Minnesota Vikings, to which they went to 4 Super Bowls. His name is Jerry Burns, and Jerry Burns is one of the most iconic men in the history of not just Vikings lore, but of all of sport. Do you remember Jerry Burns, Todd?
Absolutely.
I mean, so here's the thing. Like, Jerry Burns coached the Vikings from like 85, 86, about 1991. And in that time, I think they won 11 division titles. They went to the playoffs 12 times. And his press conferences were a thing of beauty. Every other word was fuck or shit. And he, again, not a large man. I think he stood 3'4". I think technically like he lived in Hobbiton. But the men who played for him were terrified of him because he was a scary little fucker, and he would come at you like a spider monkey, and you would see him on the sidelines grabbing men that were like 3 times his size and threatening to like throw him over his shoulder, and they would cower in fear. This man got the best out of the players that were given to him. It didn't matter if they were getting drunk and running their cars through Red Lobster, brick walls. He'd get them out there the next day and fucking win a game. I mean, this guy got more out of Tommy Kramer than Dan Campbell can ever get out of Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff born with natural God-given ability. I mean, we're talking about Tommy Kramer. We're talking about like Tommy Kramer, which, by the way, we'd love to get him on the program one time. Big fan. So yeah, that's my answer. It's Bud Grant.
Listen, you lost me the moment you said University of Michigan. Never again.
Oh, I was trying to help you out there. Oh, that's right. You don't like the one good school in your state. Fair enough.
That's right. I don't. I have my reasons. You lost me at University of Michigan. You lost me at Green Bay Packers, and then you definitely lost me at Minnesota Vikings. But then the moment you said that he was probably from Hobbiton, I was on board.
And he was. His press conferences, I mean, some of the finest audio the NFL has ever collected was his post game, especially if they didn't do well. It was stuff of lore. I challenge each and every one of you to go look it up. We're not going to play it on this because I'm sure we'd infringe on some kind of copyright laws. But just go look up Jerry Burns' press conference. You'll get some gems. I promise you.
I think what we do is I think you study them this week, and next week you reenact a couple of them for us.
I got to work on my Jerry Burns accent.
When Bud Grant came out, the year that the Vikings played outside at the Gopher Stadium, and it was minus 12 degrees playoff game, and it was the Seahawks and the Vikings, and Bud Grant came out there. Everybody is wearing multiple layers. All the players are. Bud Grant comes out there, shirt sleeves.
Yeah.
Scoliosis, and the old man is kicked in. He's like, eh. And like, that is the toughest son of a bitch out here right now.
I was at that game and I was wearing a snowmobile suit. And I mean, I was wearing I had hand warmers and boot warmers and I was drinking whiskey to stay warm. And I felt like such a bitch when Bud Grant came out. I was like, God.
I was in 72 degrees, climate controlled comfort of my own home. And I was like, I feel like a bitch sitting right here.
Yeah. And what a way to end that game. Broke Bud Grant's spirits. The final, vertebra in his back was broken when
the Black Wall Project.
Fucking field goal. God, what a terrible.
Was that in the time where they were not playing at the Metrodome and they moved over? Yeah. So I was in Minnesota at that point, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember this. I do remember this. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that was a playoff game. So that was something that you weren't familiar with typically as a Detroit Lions fan, especially back then. That was reserved for the big boys in the NFC North.
I just lived vicariously through you.
That's right. By the way, Bud Grant, second place, runner up to Jerry Burns, because he was the head coach of the 4 Super Bowls, and he is kind of a badass. I mean,
his coaching tree extended to Seattle. The Seahawks expansion season, they named Jack Patera, who was the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, as their head coach.
That's right. And then didn't Pete Carroll have a stint working for Burns?
He was a defensive backfield coach for the Vikings.
So there it is.
I'm just realizing that if we ever got any of these people on, I don't, they'd come on and I just would be like, who are you?
That would be the best part. So what, is this the homeless guy in the street you were talking about? No, as a matter of fact, this is Bud Grant, fucking royalty. Although Bud's not with us anymore, right? Bud finally passed, I believe.
Finally.
Yes, he did. R.I.P.
Oh, rest in peace, Bud
Well,
Grant.
I'll tell you what right now. It's got to be pretty funny when Bud Grant showed up in hell and just told Satan to move the fuck over. It's a new sheriff in town.
I love it. So my second is Tom Izzo, head coach of the Michigan State University men's basketball team. Started as assistant coach in 1983. This one I did not write a whole fucking monologue. This one I'm just giving you stats. He's led the Spartans to the 2000 NCAA championship, 8 NCAA tournament final appearances, 10 regular season championships, and 6 conference tournament championships. Under Izzo, MSU has made the tournament every single year since the 97-98 season. He holds the Big Ten record for NCAA tournament wins. He himself has more NCAA tournament wins than any other coach in Big Ten conference history. What a guy. And, in 2010, Izzo was offered a job to become the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and homie turned it down. And finally, his nickname is Mr. March.
Yeah, Tom Izzo was a great coach about 25 years ago. I know he's still coaching. Don't get me wrong. They're not going to get rid of Izzo. And every once in a while, they let Michigan State in on the Izzo factor. Well, your record's not that good, but Izzo. I prefer Lizzo to Izzo.
Really?
Yeah. About damn time. You should get on board with that, too.
It's about damn time. Her and her fucking flute.
That'd be so cool if there was a Lizzo-Izzo mashup.
My dad loves college basketball. His favorite sporting event is March Madness, the opening weekend, and he loves all the sports. He is a huge Tom Izzo fan. And anytime that if he has the record for most Big Ten wins, anytime you can bounce Bob Knight. you want to talk about a guy who kicked the devil out.
Bob literally kicked him out. After he threw a folding chair at him and then back kicked a basketball at him.
All right. So I give Izzo his propers there. And I remember that Mateen Cleaves team that had no business winning the national championship that year.
Yep. He did get the best out of that. He polished a turd with the best of them.
That's right.
Who was the coach that you had discussed in our WhatsApp group?
I was pretty drunk when we were doing that, so I'd have to look back. Only there was receipts. Oh, Jim Leland. Yeah, see, now that's a different,
Lung dart. You're in the dugout.
Yeah, he's pounding darts in the dugout. He's probably drinking, and he's yelling at grown-ass professional athletes, telling them how to do their job. Meanwhile, like, yeah, this guy's got black lung. He probably couldn't take a lap. He probably couldn't run the bases one time. But you got to respect a guy like that. Who is the Billy
Martin.
Martin? There's another one. Holy shit. You want to talk about a guy who didn't show up or leave the ballpark sober? It just takes a special, like what we do when we're not podcasting. Like, we can do that drunk, and we do. But to manage a professional sports team whilst intoxicated, that's impressive.
Team Jim Leland all the way. He is Detroit royalty.
Absolutely.
It eventually caught up to Billy. He died in a drunk driving accident, actually. So,
right. R.I.P.
Oh.
But he's up there in heaven right now, having a cold one with the big man.
I think on that note, Justin, it's time for you to send us into your wise words.
His active bitch face is only offset by his optimistic caption.
Thank you. We have been optimistic since 1961. I haven't. I've only been since 1979, but I will continue to be optimistic. It's our year again this year. And if not this year, next year. Kay, quit rolling your eyes. Isn't it funny how, side note, I get yelled at like, don't roll your eyes. I can't fucking help it. If I could prevent it, I would. I can't help that what you said made my eyes reach to the heavens. It's not my fault that what you said was so fucking stupid. Okay, I'm moving.
That's a conversation that I think I've actually had with my mom.
Well, I know that Todd and I had a brief conversation about this over the weekend. On Friday, 60+ million households subjected themselves to what they thought was going to be some world-class entertainment. It was the fight of the century, and it was free on Netflix if you had the prescription. The subscription. I fucking needed a prescription. You know what? Yeah, I don't know what fucking prescription drug I took to convince me to stick around and watch all 8 rounds of that bullshit, but the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul bout was without a doubt the worst boxing match I've ever watched in the history of sport. It's not like I'm a big boxing fan, but Todd, who are the 2 ladies who boxed before Tyson and Paul?
Katie Taylor from Ireland and Amanda Serrano from Puerto Rico.
That right there, one of the best boxing matches I have ever watched. I'm all in on women's boxing. I'm not watching fucking men's boxing anymore. Those 2 ladies went toe to toe.
Ass bitches, man.
Each other. I mean, like, my 2 small children came in like, "What are you watching, Dad?" And they were visibly shaken by the violence they were witnessing. I was just, man, it was so fun. It was so great. And you followed up with that turd of a boxing match, which was clearly rigged. Like, they had agreed upon it like ahead of time. We're not going to really hurt each other. Let's just both collect our $20 and $40 million paydays and circle around. But why would Mike Tyson do this? Did Mike think that somehow like this would cement his legacy? Like, one more time in the ring, we get to see Iron Mike one more time and maybe he'll land that haymaker. But what he's done essentially is sullied his reputation. You think of Iron Mike back in the heyday, and now all I'm going to remember is seeing his bare ass before the fight, which, by the way, for 58 years old, pretty nice ass, Mike. And then watching his old fucking ass just stand there and look like he had been hit by a bus before he even got in the ring. It was so pathetic. I want to remember Iron Mike the way I remembered Iron Mike before this fight. The wife-beating, rapist, cannibal, piece of shit animal human being that he was. Instead, here we are. Now, I'm just hoping that whatever nursing home he ends up in, that they take his dentures out before they let him do any boxing in the cafeteria.
The theory that I usually have when it comes to these kinds of things is they have a massive tax bill to pay. And so they do these things to pay a massive tax bill.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty well documented that Mike Tyson and all of those bouts and all the money he made, it was all taken. Like, Don King basically fleeced him out of most of his money, didn't he? But you know what? That's on Mike for being a fucking idiot. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking pretty brazen right now because I'm after that. I used to think that like I would never talk shit to even 58-year-old Mike Tyson. No way. I talk shit to him now. I am talking shit to him now. Bring it, Mike. You know what, Mike? I'll fight you.
Did you see Logan Paul, Jake's brother, in the ring afterwards? He said, "I'll kick your ass, Mike."
Oh my God. Just classless pieces of shit. But you know what? They know what they're doing. Smart. They get clicks. They make money. That's the whole point of it, was they just made even more money. So again, Mike, for a mere $1 million. You can make the 2040. I don't care, but I will fight you, Mike Tyson. I'll kick the fucking shit out of you. I've challenged you on this podcast.
You'll be eating out of a straw the rest of your life, but have at it. I'd rather sandpaper a bobcat's ass in a phone booth.
To me, living the rest of my life just drinking and eating out of a straw sounds like paradise. That's great. Everything I want is good, better than a straw anyway.
We all go back to being a baby.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
I just want to eat baby food.
Foods.
Poop my pants. Take care of
it. Boil it every once in a while and win a fucking championship. That's it.
Thanks for joining Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Baby Justin, Baby K, and Baby Todd.
That's fair.
You can
I think all the judges' scorecards aligned on that one.
Yeah. Unanimous
decision.
Yeah.
You can watch the show on YouTube. Follow us on socials at Sweat Socks Pod. Till next time.
Stay sweaty.
That you got to do it in the Tyson voice.
Stay sweaty.
Sweat Socks and All That Sauce is hosted by Todd Lyons, Kay White, and Justin Michaels.
Our theme song made by Pat Leonards.
And the album artwork is by Mike Willis.